Chapter 18, it all comes down to this. The Ashen army pours in your realm through dozens of portals, but your eyes are drawn to the sky. The skeletal dragon carrying the Empress on its back. What in the sunken hells? Oh, that's the beast I told you about, Rain. You neglected to mention it could fly. That's what you're fixated on? Wait, it's... The dragon swoops across the battlefield and somehow locks eyes with you. There's nothing familiar in that icy gaze, and yet... What is it, Rain? You lift a hand to your chest where magic pulses as if recognizing something. The dragon's glowing heart burns your eyes. You swear a single crystalline tear falls from the dragon's glowing eyes as it watches you. Then it pivots on one wing, deliberately turning the Empress away from you. It's Valix. The dragon? That's what she saw when I threw the dream essence at her. The first time she attacked us. Her nightmares are dragon form. That will be way less profound when we've been burned to a crisp. Kill them! Valix dives toward the medical tents, jaw stretched wide. A torrent of black flame spews out, lighting the tents on fire and scattering the priests. We have to stop her. She is not our only problem. You follow Tyrael's gaze to the largest portal. Ashen soldiers march through, shadow panthers racing alongside them, and while griffins fly above. How are we supposed to fight those? Panicked voices rise up around you, and Tora puts her hand on your shoulder and gives you a gentle but emphatic shove forward. I think your troops could use some encouragement, Rain. Everyone, look at everything we've accomplished. I know you see an overwhelming force bent on our destruction, but imagine what they see as they look at us. Dwarves, elves, goblins, orcs, humans, marching side by side, willing to fight and die to protect one another. The Light Realm has never seen an army like ours. Damn right it hasn't. The Ashen serve by conscript. We are fighting to defend our home. Ask yourself, who's going to try harder? The crowd begins to stir, standing taller as they return to face the onslaught. They raise their weapons into the air, cheering loudly. People of Morella, elves of Undermount, dwarves of Zeradun, orcs of Flotilla, goblins of Deadwood. Together we fight. As your army gets into formation, Wallace rushes up to you, clicking nervously. You can't come with me, buddy. It's too dangerous. I know you're fierce, but I don't want you to get hurt. Find Cade, protect him for me, okay? Wallace snuzzles your leg in reluctant agreement and then races off, half hopping, half flying. What should we do, Rain? You look up relieved to see Valix still circling high above the battle, the Empress still astride her, surveying the field with a cold but casual gaze. We need to take out as much of the army as we can before the Empress decides to get involved. You scan the horizon as you push forward to the front through the crowd of soldiers looking over the Ashen forces from your spot on the hill when... Look out! You spin around just in time to see a group of griffins swooping in from above, one coming right for you with claws out. Knock it out of the sky, drag it to the ground. Why not both? You barely have time to think as you conjure a roiling wall of flame in your hand and hurl it right at the griffin. Why don't we turn up the heat? The fireball explodes as it strikes the griffin, consuming it entirely. Screeching, it crashes straight into another griffin, sending both of them spiraling to the ground. The elves form a line to meet the Ashen army head-on, but more griffins are soaring overhead, aiming for your force's flank. Rain! You whip around to spot Cade in the middle of a group of soldiers, Thrap and Lola hovering beside his head. What are the three of you doing here? It isn't safe. You have to get the rod from this soldier. That's how they're controlling the griffins. You scan the opposing army, easily spotting the soldier holding a ruby-encrusted rod above his head. Forward! I'll handle this. You all get back to where it's safe. With a final glance back at them, you push forward, keeping your eyes trained on the soldier with the rod. Steal it, dodge through the fighting. You're about to set off when Mal grabs your shoulder. Now where do you think you're going, Kit? To do sneaky stuff? Not when you're that shiny, you're not. He presses a rune just over your heart, and the glowing gold dulls to an almost earthy brass. Stealth mode, my idea, of course. Thanks, Mal. You dodge through the fighting, using your human agility, sprinting past soldiers tangled in combat until you're right at the top of the soldier with the rod. How did you? You dive at him. The rod goes spinning off into the chaos of the battle. Human reflexes, pal. You land a quick jab to his throat, dart away into the melee. Above you, the griffins break off their attack, confused, scattered towards the portals. As the rush of wind from the griffins recedes, a chill runs up your spine. Shadow pours from the portal, choking the clouds above. Everything's dark. Yeah. But before you can decide what to do, heads up, Rain. There's a big one coming. Nia, get behind me. I can do this myself, Rain. I know I can. Nia, you can cast spells from behind me. If you get hurt, your shadow form... Oh. Shadow Ogre. You spin around to see an enormous creature stomping through the portal with a force that shakes the ground. Great, now there's an ogre. Like we didn't have enough problems. The beast charges, each step a shockwave beneath your feet as it reaches out to sweep you and Nia up with one giant hand. Nia, Rain! Aaron comes out of nowhere, yanking the two of you behind a falling tree, bashing you both against the trunk in the process. Nia blinks, looking dazed. Her hands are on her head, bracing for deathly gray to overtake her cheeks, but the color doesn't leave her face. You did it, Nia. You stayed you. What are you talking about, Rain? Stayed you? You can tell she's almost doesn't say it as tears fill her eyes, frustration spilling out. I still have Shadow in me, Aaron. He left it in me. You left it in me. And I know you think I'm vulnerable, that I'm weak, but I'm not anymore. You can see her bright eyes dimming to inky black as Aaron looks at her, and then at you. Nia, that's not... I'm sorry, Nia, for everything I did. You should know the Dreadlord didn't want me to take you because you were vulnerable, or kind, or trusting. It was because you were one of the most powerful magic users he'd ever seen. Really? He was frightened of what you'd be if he couldn't control you. What you could do with Shadow if you so choose. The air around you crackles with magic as she rises from behind the fallen tree, wrath and ruin in her eyes. Thank you, Aaron. Nia, what are you gonna do? Kick its ass. A rolling ball of yellow and purple magic begins to swirl in a perfect sphere between her fingers as she stares down the giant ogre. Hold it off for a few more seconds, Rain. So she's doing a special beam cannon, pretty much. Hold the creature in place. Don't move. Using the light around you, you bind the creature in place the way Tyrell taught you, except you've never tried to hold anything this big before. The ogre snarls, its leg twitches forward, pushing past your magic. I said don't move. Light magic flares around you. The creature remains locked in place, but you can feel your control slipping. Nia? Ready. She raises her hands, a shining sphere, pulsing between them, like an orb of light, but different. Shadow swirls around the portals, forming a vortex around Nia's glowing form. The moment the first tendrils of shadow touches the light, both completely vanish. She throws her whole body forward, and there's an ear-shattering concussion sound as the ogre stumbles back from a mighty, invisible blow. The ogre begins to petrify in front of your eyes, its heavy limbs turning into stone until the whole beast crumbles to pieces. Nia, you did it. Now you see the power that was always waiting inside you. The darkness retreats from her as Nia blushes at the compliment and cheers from the army. I just needed some help accepting myself as I am. I told you that you've always been strong enough. Mal comes racing up to you when Rin is right behind him. Not to interrupt the group therapy session, but that ogre damaged some trees. If we knocked them down, we could redirect the Ashen through the forest, make them easy pickings for the Thieves Guild, fear every shadow, etc. And I was gonna sneak off and do it myself, but I thought this might be a time for some teamwork. What's the saying? The more thieves, the merrier? Then the rest of the army can cover us while we sneak in and bring the trees down. You and Mal leading the charge, you and a small strike team of thieves slip silently off to the side and over the damaged copse of trees. The only problem is... So how exactly were you planning to knock them down? Let me make some saws. Have you got any chained weapons or garrote wire? What do you think? Oh, you made Antonio so happy. You collect all the garrote wires and chain weapons you can find and suspend them between makeshift wooden handles, creating impromptu rope saws. Focus on the damaged sections. Ren directs some of the other thieves to another heap of wounded wood, and soon every tree has toppled over and crashed to the ground. Down they go. Clever. With a smirk, Ren raises one arm in the air. He watches the Thieves Guild completely disappears into the brush, and then... Help! They're everywhere! Should have known better than to mess with the Reapers. Should have known better than to mess with us. You give Mal's shoulder a squeeze and then race over to Imtora, who's standing with the dwarves, her hands raised to her mouth. Fire! Her bellow carries across the water, and the cannons of the Orcish fleet boom out. Churta stands watching, looking puzzled. I mean, why are they still using gunpowder? What else would they be using? Dwarven explosives, obviously. They pack way more of a punch. We could even rate the cannonballs to make magical effects. Then why aren't we doing that? I don't know, you guys spent days planning this shit. Churta gestures to the mass of the fighting in between all the three of you and the ships. I don't think I can get through that, not alone at least. Diamond choice. You lead the group of dwarves towards the coast, only to find a contingent of Ashen soldiers blocking your path. Imtora, it's up to us to carve a path to the ships. Oh, when it's not even my birthday. Let me know if you need a hand or a bum. Let's go get 'em! Let's bash their heads in. Oh, that's my kind of party. Cheering, she charges at the soldiers, her axes flying as she collides with them. Is she throwing the soldiers? Yeah, she's kind of like the Hulk of the team. Only the lucky ones. You, Churta, and the other dwarves join the fray alongside Imtora, easily carving a path through them. Below the deck of Imtora's ship, Churta takes charge, the other dwarves awaiting her orders. Do you have any hollow cannonballs? A few dozen, yes. Well, don't just stand there. Bring them over. As the orcs run to obey, Churta unpacks an array of vials and thick glass jars full of rainbow assortment of liquids and powders. What sort of effects do you want these cannonballs to have? I can freeze people in place, make them confused, or make a fire that's really, really, really hard to put out. Let's burn them. Oh, can't beat the original. Let's see, I'm gonna need the red bottle and the gold bottle, and a lot of that modified gunpowder. Isn't it going to blow up my ship? Isn't it? Oh, it's almost certain it won't. And we've had worse odds. Under Churta's careful direction, the dwarves begin to fill the cannonballs while the orcs load them into the cannons. If this goes sideways, someone is getting me a new ship. Well, let's hope that that's the biggest problem we have when this is over. I'm really surprised the Empress isn't targeting the ships. Don't worry, nothing's going to go wrong. Just pick who you want to hit and light the fuse. An orc comes forward and hands you a piece of wood with a flame dancing on the end. You gaze out over the battlefield. Let's target the monsters. The orcs adjust the positioning of the cannon, and you light the fuse. Fire. I know, we had a choice to hit the Empress, but she's also flying. They're cannonballs, and monsters or soldiers help our troops, so the cannons crash into the ground near the monsters, setting them alight. See, that was my idea. Their singed tails whip against each other as they run away in panic. Really glad you're on our side, Churta. The gathered orcs cheer as more modified cannonballs wreak havoc on your enemies. A Skull Crusher slaps Churta on the shoulder. Where do we get more of these? Keep bringing me more empty cannonballs, and I'll keep filling them. And Tora turns to look over the dwarf she threatened in the market. Listen, I'm sorry about... Don't sweat it. Next time I'll pick you up. I would love to see that. She jerks her head over her shoulder to a several-armed contraption on her back. Oh, we are gonna be friends. So, you're good here for a bit? If you try to take her away from us, I'll fight you. Save that energy for the bad guys. Tora claps you on the back as you both head for the railing. Ready to get back to the battle? Why not? It's funny we didn't steal a kiss with Mal. You grabbing Tora and haul her into a case, the danger of the moment only heightening the clash of your mouths, leaving you both panting for breath. Little early to be celebrating our victory, isn't it? Consider it an incentive to win. Well, in that case... She pulls you in for another kiss, this one just as frantic. Neither of you is willing to admit it could be your last. But as you taste it in the way she devours you, clinging to you, as if she can't bear to let this moment stop. If we had more time... We will. I believe in you. Now then, let's go win this damn war. As the battle rages on, your forces hold their own with the Ashen army giving no ground. We might actually win this. Yep, no, see, this is what happened when you open your mouth too early. Why did I say that? Alex, still in her dragon form, swoops down close to the battle. On her back, the Empress raises both hands. Did you miss me, Realm Walker? Not really. Shadows flow from her like a tidal wave, blotting out the sky until you're consumed in darkness. Your soldiers cry out in panic. Make some light. I regret it now. You fling up your hand, summoning magic to flow up into the sky, forming a stunning orb of light. Oh, the screen is white. Could you stop it? I can see! Oh, you do it a second time. Third, the illumination washes over the battlefield, making it easy to spot your allies. That's better. The goblins fall in beside you, the air around them practically glowing as the grass and the water leap to their aid. Willow, but you said you were all feeling ill. No longer. The earth calls us to battle. Willow waves a hand, and a half-dozen goblins make one synchronized gesture that banishes the darkness hanging above. For the Whimsy Wood! But then Valix dives low and scours the front of your army with flames, screams fill the air, and the Empress laughs. That's right, run! Run before me, as your false gods should have. We need to fall back. To where? Survey the area. You do a quick scan of the environment, making a mental map as you take in the various forces laid out around you. Over there. You point to the inlet that curls around the back of your camp. If we fight with the inlet at our back, they can't flank us, and if we cover to the retreat, the Orcish fleet can handle it. Good thinking. As your forces charge towards the camp, you remember the mirror you got in the Shadow Realm. Pulling it from your bag, you hold it up. Let's see how this works. Is there an incantation or something? But no matter how you turn it, it looks just like an ordinary mirror. You struggle to fight your panic, imagining the worst that could happen. I hope everyone's alright. And suddenly, a vision of all your friends appears right in front of you. Oh, I just have to picture it. You concentrate, forming an image in your mind. Decoy army. The reflection blurs and shifts as you see the illusion take form. Masses of your troops charging across the field towards the southern woods. Follow them! The left flank of the Ashen M army peels off, chasing the illusionary forces due south as your actual army retreats to the camp. Nice. As the majority of your forces retreat, the priestess of the Temple of Light struggle to keep up, having to stop to tend to the wounds of the injured. Quickly, we must move. I can't. Die, Daywalker scum! As the Ashen soldier raises a sword, but before he can strike, a silver cylinder smashes into his helmet and explodes in a shower of sparks. Ah, thought you could use a hand. Always. Aaron pulls a handful of small metallic beads from his pocket. With a wicked grin, he flings them at a group of soldiers heading right for the priests. What the? Every Ashen soldier they strike jerks as if electrocuted before slumping to the ground. Nice trick. I have a few. Then another soldier is on you and Aaron draws his sword. Help the priests. I've got this. I've gotta give them more cover. Help heal the injured. Give them more cover. Heads up, we've already used our magic today for, using an orb. Charging forward, you hurl a smoke bomb in front of the group. It smashes, unleashing a thick fog that engulfs the charging Ashen soldiers. What? Ugh! As soon as the smoke touches them, electricity crackles through the cloud and zaps the soldiers. What was that? A present from a very clever dwarf named Uster. Now, let's get you all out of here. You're just reaching the edge of the camp when a skeletal dragon lands behind you. The Empress leaps from her back. Realm Walker, we meet again. I was hoping you'd gone away by now. My name is Rain. Surrender to me and I shall give you a quick death, for that is the only mercy you shall receive. We shall never surrender. Good. I want to take my time. The Empress lashes out at your forces, but Valak's draconic form stands alone, still making no move to attack. Elves, get the dragon! Wait. It's too late. The elves attack as a unit, freezing Valak's legs to the ground with ice, while another blinds her with searing light. She roars in pain, thrashing in an attempt to free herself, but that only serves to reveal the glowing orb beneath her ribs. Strike there! And now summons a lance of light. Valak's eyes widen in fear as the mage hurls the lance right at her heart. Die, beast! Stop! Tyrell leaps in front of Alex, catching the lance of light in midair. But then it explodes in his hand, hurling him to the muddy ground. Tyrell! He groans in pain, but still manages to lift himself to touch the glowing head of the dragon. You don't have to harm these people, Valak. I know your mother told you to, but please. You can't see the magic working, but you'd swear he's bound the world to stillness in the moment, so there's only him and you and the great beast you called your friend. Ask yourself if there's a kinder way to get what you want. A better life for those we love rarely begins with the death of others. The great dragon looks from Tyrell to you and suddenly begins to twist. The jagged bones shrink, writhe, and then she stands before you. Rain. She stares at you in helpless agony, and you hardly even hear Tyrell order the elves to another part of the battlefield. I couldn't do it. Not even for the good of my people. Couldn't do what? I couldn't hurt you. Or your ridiculous companions. She heaves out a shuddering breath, looking lost. Somehow at the same time, as if she's finally finding some part of herself. You're my only friends. It doesn't have to be like this. All this pain, death, all this hate. I have stopped fighting you. Isn't that enough? You know this isn't right. Since the beginning, since the very moment I met you, I've seen it. You understand. You know your mother's wrong. Part of you has always felt it, right? Some spark inside, a piece of you she didn't make, a piece that's all you. You can see the truth of your words in her eyes. That piece, it feels broken, fragile. That's your conscience, Valak. And it's a strength. Her face hardens in a look you've come to recognize less as anger and more of determination. You're right. This must end. She turns in the direction of the Empress, sending out a blast of magic that clears a path right to her. What are you doing, Valak? I didn't give you permission to take this form. She doesn't need your permission anymore. If you can't see that this war must stop, I will make you stop. You stupid girl, you think you can stand against me? I put you together piece by piece. I can take you apart the same way. Instead of responding, Valak lashes out with shadow magic, shattering the earth at her mother's feet. I am more than what you made me. You expect rage, wrath, or ruin, but instead the Empress only laughs. You poor, foolish children. With an almost careless gesture, she rips a boulder from the earth and hurls it right at you. Destroy it. Letting your rage at the Empress fill you, you lash out with a dart of shadow, exploding the boulder into dust. You! Is that? Your daughters taught me a few tricks. All around you the battle rages on, but the Empress has her eyes fixed on you and Valak. The rest of the troops give you a wide berth. You rush forward with grim determination, letting out a vicious battle cry. Stay out of this, worm. A slithering coil of shadow strikes out at you, lightning quick and icy cold. You brace yourself for the impact, but when you feel the armor your friends made come to life around you. Whoa. It absorbs the wave of darkness, filling you with a kind of warmth that makes you sure you can do the impossible. Hey, Ashy. What did you just call me? She doesn't like being called Ashy. Watch this. You close your fist and thrust your body forward, releasing an invisible blast that knocks her off her feet. Valak smirks, spins her glaive into position as her mother picks herself up off the ground. Now, where were we? You both advance, only for an ink-colored barrier to erupt in front of you. Coward. If you truly think you can just beat me, destroying it should be no issue, should it, my child? If we can't break through the front, we need a different approach. I should sneak around, appear behind her. Why not use your ability to its advantage? Focusing on an open spot on the other side of the imprint, you reach out, feeling the barrier around you. See you on the other side. Your body goes insubstantial, and you flash through the barrier, reappearing behind the imprints. Now's my chance. I'll strike with the boulder form, hit her with my staff. Boulder form. Lunging forward, you smash your fist into her face with the might of your martial combat Torah taught you. She reels back stunned, one of her horns cracked from the force of your blow. That was for Valak's. Blood seeps from the fractured horn, dripping down her face, and rage fills her gaze. Soldiers kill my traitorous daughter and her vile conspirators. What, you can't do it yourself? The wide breath the Ashen Army was giving you instantly closes as they move in from all sides, cutting you off from the Empress. There's too many. Isn't it fortunate we're here, then? You turn to find Isidore surveying the Ashen Army with a cold disinterest. Behind her, Nira stands with both hands raised, a wall of shadow springing up to block the charging soldiers. Thanks for the save. It would be even more impressive if Isidore were pitching in. Yes, Rain. We'll hold the part of the army back. Don't dawdle, though. Even my powers aren't limitless. Isidore raises in one hand. You see the barrier become more opaque. Dearest, please. Isidore sighs. Oh, fine. She brings up her other hand in a synchronized gesture with her partner. The wall suddenly rises, tentacles bursting forth from it, sweep at the Ashen soldiers, and they pull them into the shadowy abyss. Are you happy? Yes, my love. Isidore's trying to hide it, but she's clearly pleased with herself. Nira turns to you. Go on. Take the Empress out. But even with the Shadow Court's help, a sea of soldiers still separates you from your quarry. How the hell did she move that fast, and how did they move that fast to get in between us? How are we supposed to get to her? We don't have to fight them. We could still reach her from the air. In my dragon form, I could halt her army without destroying them. Most of our soldiers aren't following her by choice. I know you want to protect your people, but won't your fire hurt them? I have more than one kind of fire in my dragon form. I can make them sleep or keep them calm. I've only ever used it on shadow creatures, but I'm sure it would work. Except I've never changed without my mother's magic to help me. Then the determination returns to her face. She reaches out, one hand clasping yours. I've never felt strong enough to try on my own, but with you at my side, I believe I can still do it. Diamond choice. Valix takes a deep breath, obviously trying to calm herself, but her entire body trembles with nerves until you squeeze her shoulder. You can do this. For yourself. I don't care who made you. This is your body and your power. No one controls you but you. She nods, shaking her hands a few times, closing her eyes, forehead creased in concentration. You can do this. I know you can. I can do this. Suddenly, magic lashes through the air. Her body twists, grows, bones exploding outward, till finally the massive skeletal dragon stands before you once more. She lowers her head, offering you the back of her neck. Don't be shy now. Her voice is the same, however only deeper, like a storm lays beneath her words. You hook a hand around one of her horns and climb onto her back. Once you're settled, you're holding on tight, she launches herself skyward, carrying you above and away from the shadow pouring from the portal. Hells, you're fast. I am a dragon! From high in the sky, you have a perfect view of the battlefield. You spot the Empress surrounded by her soldiers. But on the other side of the fighting, a group of your forces is being torn apart by the Ash Empire's mages. We have to help them. How do you propose we do that? She's already turning towards your forces, waiting for your plan. Fly close and blow them away. You hold on tight as she dives, her great wings creating a gust of wind that knocks the troops off their feet. It's nice when your friends... I'm sorry, your friends, her own weather pattern. God, it's so confusing. A comma would be nice. Valix offers you a toothy purple smile and turns on a dime, sending another battalion flying. Now, let's go get your mother. Your forces charge in your wake as Valix swoops towards the Empress. Clusters of ashen soldiers still line your path, and Valix dives towards them. Valix, you should put them to sleep. Cling to Valix as she rears back, her skeletal mouth opening wide. Sleep! Icy silver fire erupts from Valix, scorching the soldiers beneath her as she cuts a path through the army. I feel... sleepy. Everyone it touches drops where they stand, limbs sprawled wildly, unconscious but alive. You wave your soldiers away from the sleeping ashen as you continue on. With the soldiers taken care of, there's a path leading right to the Empress, who now stands nearly alone. She's unprotected. Let's get her. Gladly. The Empress turns just as you approach her, eyes going wide as she sees your rapid approach. Valix, light her on fire. Valix dives towards her mother, her massive jaw opening again. No! It's all she gets out before Valix roars, fire spilling forth in a terrifying purple wave that scours the ground and swallows the Empress whole. The Empress flies back, face badly burned, hair singed, her screams tear across the battlefield with the concussive force of a colossal explosion. I'm not yelling that, sorry. I don't want to blow out your eardrums. You and Valix are thrown, the force of it knocking you from Valix's back. She slams into the ground beside you, reverting to her usual form. Hells, is that what she did when she didn't clean your room? Valix lets out a pained laugh. Oh, that hurt. Then why are you smiling? Because it's time to finish this. Damn right it is. You look up to find your friends at your back. They help you to your feet before you turn to face the Empress. Alright, let's show her what the United Realms can do. You all charge forward together, moving as one as you close the distance between you and the Empress. Okay, so, just so I'm clear, Valix is on our team now. Not the worst ally you've ever made. She wishes to make up for the wrongs of her mother. I, for one, am all for it. And so am I. Well then, welcome to the party, Princess. Suddenly, Imtora yanks Valix down as an arrow sails over her head. Nia repels it with a swirl of her hand, sending it back from whence it came. Hey Nia, can I get a little light over here? Nia flings up her arms, banishing the darkness of the Shadow Realm as light bursts into a glorious being above the soldiers, bright as the sun. Then she adjusts her stance, and an invisible force shoots out of her hand. Light magic, shadow magic, united as one. True magic. Out of our way. Several soldiers stagger back, arms raised, making them easy targets for Malice, and a flurry of dagger strikes at their legs. Sorry about this, but you'll thank me in the morning. And suddenly there's nothing standing between you and the Empress. Now, magic, weapons at the ready, you all rush her together. Mother! Valix tears past her mother's defenses, her glaive wreathed in Tyrell's glittering eyes. Each slice along her mother's skin leaks ash and fire. The Empress takes a desperate swipe at her child, only to be met with a cloud of crimson smoke as Aaron arcs a bottle to land just below her feet. I will not let you win. Get her, Rain. Using the smoke as cover, you draw her attention to one side while Mal slices at the Empress's hand, interrupting her casting. Mongrel Daywalkers! Untold thousands of years, and you still haven't come up with a new insult. Aaron tosses a bottle to Imtora, who smashes it on her axis as Tyrell sets them alight. Imtora launches herself at the Empress, raining down on her with a flurry of razor-sharp swipes the tyrant can barely deflect. I really hope this works. You close distance with the Empress, willing herself to move in and out of reality in the blink of an eye, landing blow after blow. Miss me again. Stop moving, you little worm! Suddenly, she throws her arms wide, creating a wall of shadow. You concentrate and blink out of reality as quick as you can, but... the umbral barrier clips you at the last moment. You lose your footing, the Ash Empress leans down, towering over you, a shadow and fire crackle beneath her skin. So dies the hero of Morella. The nauseating after effect of your realm walking rises in your belly and makes your headache as she swirls her hands together, forming a stormy orm that grows ever wider. It bursts without warning, and shadow magic spins wildly around you. She's draining our life force. Not just ours. You follow his gaze to the battlefield where strands of shadow have latched onto every person there, even those in the Ashen army. As the tendrils grow and grow, the magic gathers in front of her, so powerful you can feel the force of it from feet away. Nia twists against the dark bonds, turning towards the Empress. Mother Goddess, my Lady Grey, please stop. We know what Nefera did to you. It was wrong, but that doesn't mean you have to wrong others. With the slightest tremor in the coils of shadow for a moment, the smallest crack in the ice, long frozen. Nia, it's working. Keep going. The Empress scoffs. What do you know of Nefera? We know she and the other gods punished you for trying to stop the division of the realms. We know it was wrong. We appreciate your sacrifice. We know you're capable of creating good things. You made Valix, after all. Valix is a blunt instrument, an extension of my will. I don't think you believe that, not really. For a moment, you think there might be getting through to her, but when you feel the tendrils of shadow tighten, blistering your skin with a crackling cold. You know the nothing of sacrifice. You think your gods care about you, lurking in Ilhalis like ghouls. I will make you beg for the so-called mercy of your benevolent dictator before I am through. I will make you watch as Then her eyes go wide, and an obsidian blade wreathed in golden light pierces through her chest from mine. She falls to her knees as the energy along the sharp edge fuses in a shimmering, nearly invisible true magic. Valix comes around her shoulder, turning the blade so her mother is forced to look at her. You gave me life, but only I choose what to do with it. Silence falls across the battlefield as mother and daughter stare at each other for one final moment. And I choose to end yours, for the safety of the Ashen and the good of the realms. Alex gives one more brutally efficient flick of her wrist. The glowing lava beneath her mother's skin hardens to ash before wind carries the cinders away. The sound of battle rapidly fills your ears again as the fighting starts anew and your friends leap back into the fray. Why are they still fighting? They're free now. There's no need for more violence. The battle is over. Their last orders were to fight, so that is what they'll do. Can't you give them new orders? They won't listen, not now. Especially not to the person who just killed the Empress. This is how freedom works, I'm afraid. But we have bigger problems. What can be bigger than the Empress? Alex points to a nearby portal where you see a fresh wave of soldiers marching towards you. The rest of the army is still coming. The rest? You mean this isn't all of them? There are a whole legions on their way. They may not realize my mother's gone until after they've raised White Tower. And we need to rally. You can try to... She lifts a hand in silence. Pain stands clear in her eyes. There is only one way to end this. We have to seal the final rift together. Seal the rift? You're right. It's what the Watcher wanted me to do. Maybe he knew this was the only way to stop the fighting. If there is another way to solve this, I cannot see it. Together, you follow the vibrations of the last remaining rift, which has been torn open into a small portal. Alex steps through it and faces you. You'll have to guide me. I've never done this before. Just imagine this place as it should be. Imagine the rift stitching together piece by piece until the barrier is whole. But be ready to jump back through before it closes all the way. Rain, I can't. Someone must be stayed to dismantle what remains of my mother's empire. Someone must make things right. She reaches through the portal to clasp your hand, her eye shining with tears. Thank you for believing in me. Rain, I will never forget you. Valix, I won't forget you either. You made me realize the world was so much more complicated than I'd ever dreamed. I won't forget that. Or you. You helped me find myself, Rain. I will be ever in your debt. Just pay it forward, Valix. Your people need you. You clasp her hand, and she squeezes yours in return, 1,000 unspoken words passing between you as you begin to gather your magic. She steps back, and there's no more time. You slowly envision the magic slowly stitching together as you stare into Valix's sorrowful expression. Rain, wait! The magic halts and slips away as you turn to find your friends converging on you, breathless and panicked. We must do this. It will restore the barrier. No more portals, no more armies, no more war. You mean no more magic? Remember what Radimir said? If the barrier is restored, magic will die. Maybe that's for the best. Or it is simply do more harm. Believing something will do good does not make it so. Trust me. If you don't close the barrier, shadow magic will still be a corrupting force. And light magic will still cost people their lives if they use it too much of it. It needs to be destroyed, Rain. The Watcher said that if we tear the barrier down, the two realms will collapse on top of each other. They've been apart too long. Worlds will collide. People will die. Can't you just leave it open? What do you mean? I'm no mage, but it seems like the least pain is caused by just leaving it be. Sure, magic stays unbalanced, but it was unbalanced before. What's a little drained life between friends, right? But you can learn how to do the true magic stuff, right? Not everyone will be able to, not before they lose at least some part of their life force. Think of the children at the orphanage. How long has it taken them to learn control? You could teach them, Nia. You, Rain, Tyrell, I know you could. It wouldn't be fair, Mal. The Ashen were wronged. We were wronged with the last person who was there for the wrong that just died trying to harm everyone she could. Perhaps if we looked to ourselves rather than our enemies, we could make a true home in the Shadow Realm. Maybe I should make it with you. What? It wouldn't be fair for you to have to do this alone. What about Cade, Gerda, Willow, Thurpa, Lola, Wallace? You'd leave them behind. You'd leave us behind. I don't want to leave anyone behind, but I know that what you'd be giving up if you came with me. It's up to you. If I close the barrier, I think I have to be on the other side. I wish I had time to tell Cade, but we have to decide now. More people are dying every second. This has to stop. Besides, Cade's a storyteller. He'll help everyone understand. You want to believe that. You have to believe that. There's no way we're leaving you. Not a chance in the world. Wherever you go, Rain, we go too. Exactly. I agree. But I still don't think it's the best course of action. The only way to restore things to how they were meant to be is to destroy the barrier entirely. It might hurt in the short term, but in the long run, perhaps it's the only thing that can save us. That can save magic. It's not gonna save everyone, Nia. That's the problem. I'm with Mal. There's no easy answer. There never is with this stuff. It's up to you, Rain. We trust you'll make the right decision. I hate each and every one of you for making me go through these choices. You know how I felt with Endless Summer. You always do, don't you? You can see the rest of the Ashen forces behind Valix, rapidly getting closer and closer. We'll buy you the time you need. So make it quick. Before you can say another word, your friends charge into the Shadow Realm to hold back the oncoming army. What do we do, Rain? The two realms were established on a negative, right? The old gods, who literally and figuratively aren't here nor give a shit about us, right? Established this stupid thing. And then, yes, went after Nephara and all that. It's only right if everyone has a life, whether they choose light, dark, or both. It's only right. People are going to die. One way or another. Any of those choices, someone perishes. Someone loses. We have to tear down the barrier and rejoin the realms. Didn't you hear what I said before? Buildings, people on top of each other. A cataclysmic fracture of the physics that rule the realms. It's the only answer. We need to put everything back the way it was meant to be. Then there won't be two sides. There will just be us together. Trust me. I do. You channel your shared magic into making the portals bigger, tearing at the barrier. The world starts to shimmer around you. Keep going. The building pressure breaks with a roar as the barrier collapses. The ground swells, flinging you all your feet as the realms slam together, shaking the world from the soil to the sky. Rain! You stumble to your feet, spinning around until you find Alex on her hands and knees, the rest of your friends around her in a disheveled circle. Is everyone alright? I do not know how to answer that. You follow his gaze and see a strange, chaotic world. Twisted shadow trees thrust gnarled trunks out through the light realm fields. The orcish ships are grounded where the coastline has changed. Magic. It is whole again. I can feel it. Then all is how it should be. I suspect there are some people who might argue with you about that. I am very prepared to do so. Looks like we've got a city to rebuild. More like a world, and a whole new ocean to explore. They all look at you. You spend a moment taking in each beloved face, grateful that they're alive and with you. We've got a lot of work to do, but I know we can handle it together. Rain, hero of Morella, savior of the realms, champion to all. You mastered 14 of 14 skills, wielded 3 of 3 legendaries, and read all lore tablets. You completed 27 of 27 side quests. Congratulations, you completed all lore tablets and unlocked the bonus scene. Combining the realms caused an almost unimaginable amount of destruction, as objects, buildings, landscapes in both worlds were suddenly forced to exist in the same space. They tore through each other, leaving only rubble and debris behind, but it's not all destruction. Light and shadow magic have been reunited, so the shadow's corruption and light's drain of life force are no longer inevitable fates for mages. People are also working together to rebuild the places they called home. In the throne room at the White Tower Castle, Nia speaks with the king. I think it would be wise to grant the Ashen their own land here. A bold proposal. The dwarves and goblins have already agreed to cede parts of their lands to the Ashen. They've given some of their titles. Ashen laws, It has gone a long way towards making them feel at home and accepted here. It would do even more if you offered them the same. I have no objections, but can we discuss the specifics at a later date? Take some time for my advisors to come up with a suitable plan. Of course. As the king leaves, she leaned closer to Nia. I really don't like that guy. Me neither, but at least he's starting to listen. Especially as I have so much left to do today. I need to stop by the orphanage and check in on the people in the temple to see how their outreach has been going. Nia. You pull her close to you, smiling as her arms go eagerly around your neck. Didn't we have a talk about delegating? You can't do it all. You can't do everything now either. I know, I just like being able to help. You could help me take a nice romantic walk around the royal gardens, you know. She leans up on her toes to reward you with a brief, sweet kiss, but her smile is pure laughing mischief. You know, I can't resist helping the needy. Off in the most remote reaches of the realm, Mal and Tyr will examine the walls of a cave and the strange relics they hold. Oh, what's this? A glint of something shiny catches the light as he pulls forth a valuable-looking relic. Feels like it's still got some pretty powerful magic in it. How much do you think something like this would go for? You know, we're not selling anything until we understand its purpose, and more importantly, its historical significance. You're no fun at all. What? I don't even rate a comeback? Look at the writing on the wall. Do you recognize the language? This looks like scribbles to me. It could take some time to decode. Oh, now you look happy. You step fully into the room, and they both turn to grin at you. There you are. What happened to that chamber you wanted to explore? It collapsed. Couldn't get more than a foot past the doorway. Ah, that's bad luck. Well, while we have you, take a look at these carvings. Step up to the wall, and to your surprise, one or two of the twisted words actually make sense. I think this means creation, and this one definitely means about time. We should bring a copy back to Valak. She's got the Watcher's memory still. I'll bet she'll have it translated in no time. At the very least, it will excite Cade and Chata. It's time to get going, though. I have a meeting with the Council of Houses. Have you had any luck getting them to adjust? The Coalition is making progress. We have a number of Ashen and Dwarves who have settled in Undermount, and the work on the new city is, well, progressing well. I do wish they'd let go of the exhausting idea of making all the buildings out of marble, though. Marble? All the way from Zeradin? Are you sure you don't want to come with me to the council meeting? Not for all the money in the world. Wait, did you hear that? Low gurgling comes from the back of the room. When you squint in the darkness, you see a pair of glowing eyes. Chat later, fight now. You ready, elf boy? Always. Grabbing your weapons, you charge into the fight. Out at sea, Amtura stands at the wheel of a ship, the sun shining down from above. Flotsam spotted off the starboard bow. Could be wreckage. Dora raises an eyeglass, surveying the floating bits of wood. Doesn't look like any ship I've ever seen before. Must be a bit of something that came over from the Shadow Realm. Might be worth exploring, eh? You step out fully onto the deck, and Amtora glances back over her shoulder with a grin. Look who finally decided to wake up. I wouldn't have needed to sleep in so late if you hadn't kept me awake half the night. You complaining? Never. We just came upon a mystery in the water. Think you could hold your breath long enough to find out what's waiting for us down below? Is that a challenge? You know it. Laughing, the two of you leap over the side of the boat and plunge into the water. In the newly regrown Deadwood, Aaron strides through the goblin village, his arms full of sketches. Forest friend, we welcome you back under our boughs. The final plans for the village are complete. He spreads the blueprints out across the table, using rocks to hold down the edges of the paper. I found the best tree for your community center, and the perfect materials are on their way. We should be done in time for the Golden Seal Festival. We and the trees bow to your continued generosity. You deserve only the best, my friends. A bed of grass invites you to rest. Sit. I will fetch water. As the wind rustles the trees and the sound of the joyful goblins rebuilding their home sounds around him, Aaron smiles and starts to sketch. Willow strides deeper into the forest, startled by a low growl. Hey now! The shadowed hound crouches low, his eyes fixed on a flock of birds. Sighing, Willow shakes their head and scatters the birds with a tutting noise. Your belly is full enough of the feast we shared with you this morn. We take only our fill. Heaving a put-upon sigh, the Shadowhound rises and trots willingly after Willow as they wind deeper into the woods. The town of Riverbend, Eliana, sits outside the smithy, their eyes bright with excitement. There you are, little one. You bring the pot straight back to your mama, you hear? I will. Thank you for fixing it. Well, you thank your mother for the salve. She was right, it fixed my sore shoulder right up. They take up the pot and skip away, waving to several of the shopkeepers as they go. Inside the Temple of Zeradun, Cade and Shirta sit together, close, a stack of scrolls and carvings spread out between them. I can't believe some of the things Mal and Tyrell brought back. What, like the book? We're talking about a book written by the race that made the elves, and we can read it because Valak knows how to translate it. Too bad it was a cheesy mystery novel. I figured out who the killer was on page 3. Never trust the nervous deputy. Tell them to bring me a book of history, or maybe a salacious diary next time. Eventually, they're sure to bring back something with actual information. You could always spend your free time figuring out what these artifacts do. Cade picks up one of them, a small box with a prominent button. Raising one eyebrow, he gently pushes it and curses as electricity zaps his fingers. Ow! Phew. Are you laughing at me? Well, I didn't tell you to start pushing random buttons. Come on, let's be logical about this. Deep in Undermount, Threp lounges on a pillow surrounded by wide-eyed elves and platters full of tasty snacks. So you understand, of course, that I had to join this party of adventurers. It was clear they would be lost without me. I heard you saved them all from 11 drachna. 15 at least. The number grows every time you tell the story. Threp huffs, then turns to examine Lola. Are you comfortable enough? We could get you another pillow or something else to snack on. I'm just pregnant, Threp. Until I update you, I can walk. I can sit, fly around to chase you. I know. Soon we'll have a whole litter of little Nespers running around. Can't wait to tell them all about how I helped Rain save the world. I wish we could have seen the babies. Inside Rain's house in White Tower, Vivi brings dinner to the table and sets it in front of Mal. So you're in the temple, Tyrell's down, 3 of these monsters are closing in on you, and I'm down to 1 knife and my killer smile. Which is 1 killer smile more than I needed to take them all out. Yes, next time Rain comes over, I'm going to need to verify all this because I know my brother's not that cool. I am offended. And so am I. If you keep threatening to fact-check him, he'll never bring Rain by, and I love her. In a remote village, Isidore and Nira make their way through the streets, oblivious to the distant growling sounds. Oh, why is every place we go so dirty? I long for civilization. I don't know. I find this village quaint. Look out! Oh my god, it's an owlbear! An enraged owlbear rushes straight down the village street, scattering people in front of it. Isidore glares, holding out one hand, and the owlbear skids to a stop. You're making the peasants shriek and giving me a headache. Go away. Completely cowed, the owlbear scampers off into the woods. Thank you, my lady, you saved us. The thing was in my way. What she means is that you're very welcome. We're glad we could help. I'd be more glad if there was a single clean glass in the village, or a passable bottle of wine. Inside her new home, Alex speaks with villagers from Port Parnassus. I have resources. Easy for you to say. The things will be put to rights. Some of us lost everything when the realms collapsed. My bar, home. We're there. Now half the city's in the ocean, and half's in ruin. I understand your anger and your confusion. You've suffered a tremendous loss. But I'm here to tell you we intend to make it right. I'm dispatching soldiers with building supplies immediately. How do we know that they won't just build homes for your people? We are all the same people now. We only have one home, and we're going to build it together. As the angry merchants finally disperse, muttering, you step up close to Velix's back. Do you need me to step in and handle this? I could try playing the hero card. These days, people are as likely to blame me as thank me, but at least some of them might start shouting at me instead. They would still rather trust you than me. But I hate to send you off when you just got home. Oh, you could always come with me, Show the people that you don't mind getting your hands dirty. I think I will. Perhaps it will help to see that I'm a leader willing to put myself in their shoes. And the chance to spend your nights alone with me has nothing to do with it? Of course not. But the unrest in Port Parnassus remains, and you soon find yourself there. It's not our fault your city collapsed. It is when your city fell on it. None of us asked for that. Well, you started the war, didn't you? Before another fight can get going, you leap onto a nearby cask and whistle sharply. Hey, no one here started any wars. Fighting over what happened is a waste of time. We need to focus on rebuilding the city. The builders in the Ash Empire have new techniques, new materials you've never seen. The builders in the Light Realm have their strengths too. Together we can rebuild something better than what was here before.
They're still strangers. Why should we trust them?
Everyone you know was a stranger once. How did you change that? A cask or 3 of ale?
Oh, is that all it takes? Rain is standing on some of our finest.
Never had ashen ale myself. Is it any good?
The best you've ever had.
Huh, I'll believe that when I taste it. Drop off the ale. Sure, there will be more fights to come. Hopefully bar brawls are about their favorite ale. Wallace comes up to you and rubs against your leg. You've got to stop growing, Wallace. I don't know what I'm going to do when you are an adult owlbear. Maybe you can stop the other owlbears from being stupid. I guess we'll figure it out together. The 7 of you stand on a high hill, looking down on the keep, once known as Shroud Watch. I kind of like the castle look. Honestly, so do I. Then let's try and keep it.
So what's next? Some kind of world-saving errand, I'm sure.
Actually, I was thinking about retirement. What? Rain? You can't be serious. Don't worry. I'm not. As long as I'm needed, I'll be there. Just like I know you will be too.
We can't let you have all the fun.
Of course, we'll be there, Rain.
Whenever you need us.
Whenever the world needs us. And maybe sometimes when you don't.
Especially when you don't.
You and your party stand for one more moment, thinking of everything you've learned and everything you've lost. Staring up at the newly bright purple sky, it feels like anything is possible. From the team, from the bottoms of our hearts, thank you for coming along on the adventure that has been Blades of Light and Shadow 2. Anyone can be a hero and change the world. All you have to do is try, but first a hint of what's to come. There might be a book 3. Not gonna hold my breath, though. You know, Most Wanted, Blade, or the other one, Crowns, excuse me. Deep in the world below, and the world below that, there's a city. A city where it always rains. But deep within that city, there is so much light, a beacon shining beneath the clouds with a ceiling filled with moss whose wings glitter and glisten as they burn. And in that bright place, a servant is about to be unmade.
Forgive me, my queen. Forgive her, for she knows not what she's done.
These creatures cannot be taught. We learned that long ago, but I was too gentle with my hope. But what is my burden to bear? The queen is gracious, the queen is kind, but she is also practical. She knows that when a sword is broken, it must be forged anew. Rest now, my child, do not be afraid. I invite you to be a part of me again, as I invite your pupil, little Rain. And so, the servant ends as he began, a well of light, like a dying star. I wonder, what are you made of, Rain? And what will you become? Will I tell your story before the end? See you soon, Realm Walker. Let me guess. Battle against the light. We'll start the chapter to try, and other choices are in the book. I liked it. But other than that, we're ending the book. So, before I say what I have to say, please remember that if you did enjoy the video, what I do, the reading, the voices, etc., to like the video, share the channel, share the video, share what you can, and remember to always subscribe if you're not already. Otherwise, leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts on this book. With that being said, once again, thank you all for watching. Your continued viewership is very much appreciated. I love to read each and every one of your comments, and I love to get to know those of you who come out of your shell and chat with me. With that being said, I'll say the following. I believe in what we did, right? We brought the realms together. And let me know if you chose separately, and let me know if you saw a bonus scene that was different than mine. But, with that being said, if you have known me long enough, I'm a person who always typically will find compromise, and compromise we did, bringing the realms together. And yes, there is destruction. There always will be, right? From destruction, things become anew. Like a phoenix from the ashes. It's not as rare as you think. So pretty much, I enjoyed this. You know, as I was sitting here reading, I was waiting for a moment of maybe Pixelberry being amazing with this. Especially the artwork seems to be deteriorated lately. If you really look at some of those pictures of like Valix when she was on the other side of the portal, which was very short-lived, and all these other things. And the artwork, especially on my screen, looks very pixelated versus what usually did happen. And I'm just sitting here going, alright, it's coming near the end of 2023, and literally and figuratively, there are apps, programs, etc., where you can take things that Pixelberry has artistically done, right? Especially if you're too lazy to do it. But you could have put images and figures and whatnot into kind of like a program that allows you to kind of like roll through a bunch of images that the AI will make and continue making. And I was thinking for a minute, it would have been amazing, wouldn't it? To see a bunch of soldiers and a bunch of flags and each representing each, race and things like that standing behind our 7 heroes as they went after the Empress, right? Would have been amazing. Or a lot of artwork that could have been done. Again, we're talking about a castle and blah 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 there at the end, and again, we see nothing. This is supposed to be something new, something we're working on together, all 7 of us, and yada yada yada. Again, these are things that I would have liked to see, right? Especially for, unlocking a bonus scene that pretty much spans over the course of 18 chapters, for instance. And, I don't know. I just felt like this was a lackluster ending. Something that, again, reminded me of The Crown and Flame. And will we see... Again, it kind of leaves with a cliffhanger, doesn't it? Will we tell the story before it ends? Right? And clearly the Watcher was still alive, so that was an illusion, I'm assuming. Or the person was able to bring the Watcher's life and soul and everything back to, I guess, the city under the city where it always rains. And, yeah, I don't know. Again, let me know your thoughts and comments down below. It was nice to see everyone at the end there, enjoying life, continuing to live their fullest, yada yada yada. I could sit here for the next hour, let alone 3 hours, and give tons of feedback and tons of things I would like to see in, perchance, a book 3. And I would love for these books, these chapters, to become more immersive, more rewarding for not just the team that is a Pixelberry, but also you as a viewer, especially when you pay diamonds, especially them. And there's a lot of apps out there that are the perfect example of that. That every time you picked a diamond scene, especially even a lovemaking scene, right? Or Bound Chicken Wow Wow, that basically there was some artistic nudity to that. And if everybody remembers the one app we used to do that had amazing things that Disney killed off, that every time you picked a diamond choice, there were even several pictures, and this is way back before AI artwork was done. So those people did that by hand to do that artwork. So when you pick those scenes, you got to see at least one image or artwork or whatnot that kind of like was very much rewarding for you as a viewer, as you as a reader to see. And I just miss those days. I really do. Without further ado, once again, we have reached another, I guess you could say, ending point of a journey with one another. For me personally, completing and closing another book with each and every one of you. For me, it kind of, I don't know, kind of like a bittersweet moment, I guess you could say, where you're happy to have done it, but also sad because it might be your last. And I'm not talking about just me. Maybe the last that some of us, this last day, this last minute, this last hour, that some of us may be alive. So, please take this to heart. Enjoy your life. Live it to the fullest. Make sure to always be positive, to be a force to be reckoned with, whether it be in kindness, protection of others, or whatnot. Please do not do bad things to one another, as basically, I know it may feel joyous to some of those people who do bad things to others, but you would make that feeling be so much bigger if you did kindness and just were a force of good instead of bad for others. We have the capability in each and every one of us for the true magic. We are able to do good and bad. You must find a balance between the two. Right? Nothing wrong with being naughty as long as you're not hurting other people in a bad way. Okay? That is my sage wisdom and advice for going into the new year, let alone now. Thank you all once again for watching, and I'll catch you all, hopefully, in the next video or book. Peace out.